Hello everyone and welcome in. Today is Sunday, October 1st, and this is your daily card pull to see what all messages God, Spirit, the Divine has in store for you for today. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I did get all of the videos posted for the individual zodiac signs for the first half of October. So make sure to take a look at those. There's also been a couple other videos recently, like the Is This Your Person? Messages, things like that. Also, coming up, I will be doing a special reading before we have our eclipse on the 14th. So there will be a special reading where I'll pull a couple cards for each individual zodiac sign to see what things for you to focus on during that eclipse time. But let's go ahead and jump into today. We'll pull 3 cards in general for the collective, and then we'll do our individual sign groupings. So as a reminder, in the description box below, you can see the links to when the individual groupings are starting. So let's see what comes out. We have our 5 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles, and Judgment in reverse. So with our 5 of Swords, this is kind of this ambitious, like ruthless, dishonest type of feeling to it. And then the 5 of Pentacles is that energy of like really struggling. So as a reminder, the 5s are all about challenges and struggles. And so that's something, with having both of these out here, it looks like today might be a little bit of a challenging day. So we also do have our Judgment in reverse card. So this is kind of like, it's about doubt and ignorance and kind of failure to learn from the past. So with that being in reverse, it looks like there's some of these struggles that are going on here, and some of that is attributed to failing to learn from the past. So something that we say a lot on this channel is that messages keep getting louder and louder until you have to listen to them. So with this judgment in reverse and failing to learn from the past, this is really a time to quiet your activity, quiet your ego mind, and really listen to what's coming in from an intuitive perspective. And what is your soul trying to tell you? What messages are you supposed to be getting that maybe you haven't been getting, you haven't been paying attention to? So, like I said, this is that out in the cold, struggling, hardship, unemployment, and this is some of this lying and dishonesty, like that sort of like ruthlessness, like that sort of energy. So let's see what is in store for each of the groupings. Today we will start with our earth sign. So that's going to be our Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and see what messages come out for you. The Tower. So the Tower, that is these big, big, massive events or circumstances that are going to kind of rock your existence, I guess, or kind of, shake things up. So this isn't something minor. I mean, this is going to be a big course altering type of thing that's happening. And as it relates to this, if you've been kind of failing to learn from the past, and these cycles are going to keep repeating, at some point, the universe is going to say, all right, here's the Tower, kind of, I don't have cats, but for those of you that have cats, here's the cat coming in and boom, just knocking it all off the table. So the thing to keep in mind though with towers, and a lot of times people are afraid of them, or they try to cling to whatever is starting to crumble. The key to this is it's crumbling for a reason. The Tower is happening for a reason. So this whole idea of you've been given opportunities up until this point to be able to make changes in your life to avoid this being as dramatic as it is. If you continue to cling and hold on for dear life to whatever is trying to make its way out, it's just going to prolong it, and it's just going to make it worse. So the key to successfully navigating through these Tower moments is, can you step back? Can you pull yourself out of the situation enough to look at it as if you were an outside observer, saying, okay, here was the situation that was going on. Here were the characters in this story or this play or this movie. And oh my gosh, this is what happened. Well, what led to that? And why is the character having this happen? Like, if you can pull yourself out and look at your situation like that, it will help you to be able to detach from it and go more into soul and not stay stuck up here in ego. So the Gaia card that I pulled was Jewel Within a Teardrop, appreciation, spiritual and emotional reconnection. And with this is kind of that reminder that the jewel within a teardrop, even though, yes, there's going to be sadness that goes along with this tower. Typically, whenever something major is crumbling and leaving your life, there is some sadness to it. But this jewel within the teardrop is kind of that idea of there's something beautiful that's happening within this. If you can detach yourself, like I talked about, if you can detach yourself and look at what is the lesson, what is the cycle that's being broken, because you have to tear down the old dilapidated building so that you can build a new beautiful structure in its place. Like you can't build this new beautiful home, on top of this, termite infested, whatever example you want to use. You can't build it on that. Like you have to tear the whole thing down first, get it out of the way, and then build the new structure. And so that's what's happening here is the universe is saying, all right, let's tear down what isn't working. Let's get that out of there. And then let's move on to what's supposed to be there. All right. The next one is forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So in this situation, you've had some of these hardships. You feel like you're struggling out in the cold, and it's easy to blame the other person and say, well, if you wouldn't have done that, this wouldn't have happened. If you wouldn't have done that, this wouldn't have happened. But, it's interesting when you look at this Borg here, I think this is probably Hugh. Look at his eye. His eye is that orange. The key here is forgiveness. And that's at the heart of this tower moment is, you need to forgive whatever the situation is, let it fall, and then move on. Like move on and build that beautiful structure in its place. So that is what you are, being called to do. Your jumper card here. Oh, actually there was a few. Well, this one was Ladybug and Eagle. So those were the two. Eagle is mastery. You are on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You are guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. And then we have Ladybug. Good luck. You are a bright energy. Let go and be happy here and now. Feel good about being a loving and colorful you. You bless the world with color and good luck. So that's something. The message here for our earth signs is that there is that tower that's coming in quickly. And it's looking to tear things down. Actually, here, before we move on, let's take a look at timing for that tower, because that's the energy for the day. So once the lesson has been learned, so that's that whole idea of if you keep clinging for dear life and not letting yourself learn the lesson, it's going to continue to keep getting worse. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You're not doing anything about it. You're just prolonging it, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change the end result. If somebody has been shot 15 times, you can't just keep putting Band-Aids on it. And, I hope maybe it'll get better. You have to face the reality of it. So, I was jumping out. All right, next let's move on to our water signs. That is going to be our Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Let's see what message is coming through for you. Justice. So if there has been an imbalanced or lopsided situation, you have justice coming in here to balance things out and be able to, this is like justice for you, justice for the situation at hand. All right. And let's take a look at your Gaia card. Attachment. Letting go, restriction, and fear. So again, this message, you've been in that bad situation, and there's this failure to learn from the past. Like you have this attachment to whatever this narrative is that has been putting you in these bad places, and you're attached to that narrative. And so this is saying, you need to let go. You need to let go of that situation and learn from it. So this is the Justice card. Stop trying to control it. Let divine justice come in and really try to let go and not be operating out of a place of fear. Imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. So some of this, these two are kind of going together. And with this attachment, some of it is there's an element of imagination in it. And so this is talking about restrictions and fears. So some of these fears are in your imagination. So it's almost like you've created this story in your head and you're living that story, whether it's real or not. And so this whole imagination, there is a beauty in the creative side of it, but the flip side of that is don't let your imagination run wild with you. So make sure that you're looking at the situation clearly and honestly to make sure that you're not just telling yourself a story based on fear. All right, so your spirit animal card is horse, freedom. Your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you. You have unlimited reserves of stamina and strength. You follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. So this one also is matching up here, like what are your good dreams that you're having? What is it that you want to be moving towards, and allow yourself the freedom to move towards that. So if you've been holding on to the past and not wanting to learn from it and not wanting to let go of it, it's keeping you from this freedom. It's keeping you from being able to move forward and really fulfill those dreams and move into that happy, spiritually balanced place. All right, let's take a look at our air signs and see what message is coming up for you. All right. The Emperor. So this is that strong masculine energy. It's, that let's get it done. This is what I want in my life. This is what I'm doing. And now I'm moving forward towards getting it. So it's a little bit more in head space versus heart space. So sometimes the Empress energy can be kind of a little bit of that dreamy, lovey, oh, wouldn't it be great? And the Emperor is more like the, yeah, let's do it. Let's get it done. Like that leadership type of energy. All right. Purification by water, emotional cleansing and rejuvenation. So this will be a good reminder if you live somewhere where, by the ocean, by a pond, by a lake, if you have a pool, something like that, where you can really work on your grounding and your connecting with nature from a water perspective. If you don't, even taking a soak in the tub, or there's different, you can look up, I think it's like you can put salts in the bottom of your shower when you're taking a shower and just like rinsing away the negative energy, that heavy energy, and work on, purification by water from that perspective. But some of that's about, emotional cleansing, and also that rejuvenation of just letting yourself feel that happy, peaceful, relaxed. This was a jumper card, which was peace. I am a being of love, and I release all negative energy. So that goes along with this emotional cleansing part. And let me pull a card as well. All right. Death. I'm learning that endings are merely a beginning. So if there's something where you've been holding on to the past and it's like, oh, this is because this happened in the past, that means that my future looks like this. This is that reminder of, stop clinging to the past. This is by being able to let go of it, that the death of whatever that belief was, whatever that thought was, whatever that situation or occurrence was, letting go of it and letting that die out so that way you can begin a newer, happier phase or part of your journey. And so some of that, when we're talking about death, it's not necessarily, a job ends, a friendship ends, a romantic relationship ends. It's not something necessarily that dramatic. A lot of times it's thoughts or beliefs or patterns or routines that you have. So once you can break out of those routines or patterns, then you can start something new and beautiful. Frog. Prosperity. Let go of the past and embrace change. Opportunities are close at hand. Hop into this new day with joy. Abundance and good fortune await you. So again, this one is referencing to let go of the past and let it be, let any of those situations that that were keeping you stuck, let go of the past and let those situations that were keeping you stuck evolve into something new. Start a new journey. Tell yourself a new story. Begin that new narrative. All right, let's take a look, last but not least, at our fire signs. That's going to be our Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And let's see what comes up for you for today. The moon. So the moon, this is, and this one's come up quite a bit, not as much for the fire signs. I feel like it was coming up maybe for earth signs quite a bit. But the moon it's all about those illusions and sometimes a little bit of like trickery and deceit and what is happening in the dark of night or, under the cover of night type of thing. It also has to do with your doubts and fears. So some of this is what lies are you telling yourself? And usually your doubts and fears are related to lies that you're telling yourself. Like you're telling yourself, if I do this, then this bad thing will happen. Or if you're looking at a situation like, oh, it's not my fault, it's totally this other person's fault because, you're scared to admit this could partially be my fault because then you have to look at that and say, ooh, I didn't act in a way that I'm proud of. What do I need to do about that? So some of this is what are the lies that you're telling yourself, but it's also to be mindful of the fact that there could be people around you that are not being totally above board, that there's things happening in the background that you don't know about. So that is that reminder. And it can also, looking at these reds, can also be related to the past. So with this red over here, with this kind of like the lies and deceit part that's happening over there, we do have that element with the Five of Swords of that dishonesty and that ruthlessness. So that's overall part of the energy. So not necessarily that it's your energy that you're being like that, but somebody within your energetic field could be. So that can be what this, the lies and trickery is about, but then also this judgment, this not letting go of the past. It could be that you're either lying to yourself about the past or that this other person who's being dishonest within your energetic field is lying about the past or using the past in a way that's keeping you from being able to let go of it. All right. Let's take a look at our Gaia card. The dream says something is revealed, insight and breakthrough. So this is that reminder that if you don't already, keeping a dream journal can be really interesting. And I would recommend having it right by your bed so that as soon as you wake up, before you even get out of bed and start moving around, start jotting down the details that you can remember, because it's funny. Usually I feel like I remember my dreams, but I would be doing that, like I'd be laying in bed and still writing it down before I get up. And I went back and I was rereading mine the other day, and it was crazy because there were a bunch of dreams in there that I didn't even remember that I had. So they vanished so quickly after I got up and moving, but it was interesting to go back and read some of the details of what was happening within those dreams. So the jumper card, as I was shuffling here on these soul journey ones, was fear. I realize that I am testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. So this definitely going along here. So there's a lot of fear about letting go of the past, because if you let go of the past, yes, it gives you the ability to move on, but there's a little bit of that fear about moving on still. And so that's something that can be really tough for some people if you don't feel like you're ready. But so it's fear that's keeping you, and usually your fears and your worries, they're not as bad as like you think that they're going to be. So you can psych yourself out so much before something happens. So this is kind of that reminder of, I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. It's very hard to live in the moment in a loving energy when you're bogged down with fear. So definitely work on being able to let go of that. And then that's also tying in very heavily here with this moon card, because the moon is representing your fears, but it's also if there's some sort of lies or illusions that are happening that somebody else is bringing to the table, or some sort of trickery, you're so afraid of that then you're letting that shift the way you're handling it, instead of living in that feeling of love and addressing the situation with love, you're addressing it with fear. So not to say that you should be totally forgiving of, oh, this person is doing all this weird, crazy stuff. But if you can not get baited into that trap and stand back and say, I choose to live my life in love, that is not love. That can help. And these colors also go with the dream. So I think watch your dreams, because I think you'll be getting some messages in there about how to proceed with the situation. And then the other jumper card, and we'll just stick with those two, is indecision. So you're stuck in a place of indecision. But then the recommendation, or like the mantra, is I use my intuition in all aspects of my life. So the key with being able to use your intuition, and again, since these are all, oh my gosh, color-wise, these are all going together, some of your intuition is going to be coming through in your dreams. So you have to be able to listen to that and remember that. But also remember that ego and fear yells or screams, your intuition whispers. So you have to be able to quiet those fears and quiet that, I'll call it that monkey mind, to be able to listen to your intuition and what it's trying to say. Because you have an awful lot of feelings of hardship and like being kind of out in the cold, and then these feelings of dishonesty and kind of that ruthlessness coming at you. So it's very easy to respond in that energy of fear. So try to quiet that mind so that you can really hear your intuition. And your spirit animal card is Wolf, Pathfinder. Release your past and start a new journey. You are a teacher and help others find their way. There will be challenges, but your soul is strong. Perseverance is your secret power. You have a love that endures. So this is that whole thing of leading with love, letting go of the past, start something new, start something fresh. Don't stay in these old patterns. Don't stay there because of just being stuck in the past. It feels like you're being trapped in the past by some other illusion, some other tricks to try to keep you trapped in the past, but you're really being called and pushed to move on, to let go of the past, to start a new journey, and get out of that space of fear and indecision and moving to your highest good, and the path that really lights your soul up and makes you wake up every day like excited to start your day, and what wonderful things await me, as opposed to, oh, great, it's another day. So I hope you found today's reading to be helpful. As always, take only what resonates and leave the rest behind. And I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time, bye-bye.